Hey, Poppy. Hey, H. Girl, you better be parking that Mustang. Well, now, it is horrible here. I mean, horrible. It is snowing a lot. And it was a little icy this morning. So I've had a really busy morning. I had to take the car in to get the oil changed. And so my daughter, my golden child, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done today. I appreciate you, even though the day has just begun. Um, I wanted to listen to these closing arguments. So I thought, why not listen to them with you guys? Uh, hold on. Hold on. Um, 48. No way, Poppy. Oh, man. I want that weather, girl. I want that weather. For real, for real. Okay, so some people may not be interested in this. I didn't show the whole trial, but I do want to hear the closing arguments. So because it does tell us a lot, believe it or not. Um, and I also talked about the sentencing hearing and showing that. I've watched a lot of this trial, and I am telling you guys, it's pretty wild. Pretty wild. Okay, let's go ahead and get it started.
So we've finally reached the point in trial for closing arguments.
Can you
and
hear
what this
this
essentially
okay?
means is an opportunity for the state of Tennessee to go through, talk about the evidence a little bit, reflect on some of the witnesses, because it's been a pretty long, almost 2 weeks. The state will go first, then one of the
The
defense attorneys will
sound
have
is
an opportunity to go,
horrible
then the
or
state will go again.
the
And
weather's
I'll talk a
horrible?
little more about that in a second, but that's because the state carries the burden of proof.
The verdict is
So
already
I think
in?
each of you should
Are
have
you
a jury
kidding
instruction.
me? The verdict is already in. Oh my gosh, how did I freaking miss that? Okay, let me pull it up. Verdict in. Lord have mercy. They weren't out very long at all. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I may have to pop over to Court TV to get it. Oh, wow. Guilty on all 3 first-degree red rum charges. That was so fast. That was fast. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up. Hey, Jenny. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I've got it pulled up. Let's go check it out. I apologize, you guys. I thought for sure that we would have time to discuss this. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, well, we're going to switch it up then, and we will wow. Well, I will show the sentencing hearing for sure. Okay, Sullivan County, Tennessee jurors have returned a guilty verdict against Megan Boswell following a week-long trial. Like I said, that was so quick. Wow. I kind of feel foolish. I feel kind of foolish. Here, let me stop this thing here. Let me stop it. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh, guilty. The jury found Boswell guilty on all 3 first-degree red rum charges she faced in the death of her daughter, Evelyn. She was also found guilty on all her other charges, including aggravated child abuse, aggravated child neglect. The verdict was delivered to a packed courtroom. Boswell herself began crying around the time the jury foreman said that she was found guilty on her second-degree red rum charge. Wow, here are all the charges. The jury began deliberating on Wednesday afternoon after closing arguments wrapped up. The jury spent about 4.5 hours deliberating between Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. Now, let's talk about some of the stuff that happened in this case, because we seen her Facebook messages and things. We also seen her text messages and things like that. Now, one thing I thought was really strange was because oh, you did, Loves to Lurk? I'm doing good. Good to see you. Wow, I am stunned. I am stunned. Wow. She faced 19 charges. First degree premeditated red rum. We all know what that means, right? That she premeditated Evelyn's demise. First degree red rum in the perpetration of aggravated child abuse. First degree red rum in the perpetration of aggravated child neglect. Aggravated child abuse guilty, aggravated child neglect guilty, tampering with evidence, 11 counts of false report, abuse of Evelyn's remains, and failure to report a death under suspicion, unusual or unnatural circumstances. Wow. They say she initially faced 12 counts of false report, but they dismissed one of those. Man, they came back so fast. So fast. Oh my gosh. Oh man. The trial saw more than 30 witnesses called to the stand by the state, and none by Boswell's defense. They called no witnesses for her. Hey, Mama Cat. Yes, I believe well, it may have been a little different if they would have went for the DP. I don't know. I don't know. Oh my gosh. To be honest, I was kind of afraid it was going to end up like another Casey Anthony. Tennessee ain't playing. Wow, you guys. That is crazy. Thank you for telling me that, because I would have felt kind of silly if I would have been playing wow. Now, I did watch when they were talking about finding Evelyn in the trash can. Let me tell you guys something. And we can kind of talk about whatever we want now, since my title is non-existent. So we can discuss whatever you guys want. But she reminds you of Leilani and Susan Smith. Wow. That is crazy. That is cuckoo. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They didn't put on a defense at all. I think eventually that's what I worry about, is that if they did not put on any defense, the possibility that she can say that she was, ineffective lawyers. Absolutely. Absolutely. I see that. I see that. Wow. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Um, what? Oh, let me tell you, freaking, YouTube gets me for everything. I'm like, where did I play a song yesterday? We're just gonna trim it out wherever it's at. It's going bye-bye. Oh, Lord help me. That is just nuts. YouTube's like, I don't think we like you, lady. I'm like, but YouTube, I like you. I really do. That, you guys, I am stunned that it came back that quickly. I am just flabbergasted. Wow. Justice for Evelyn. Justice for Evelyn. That is, I am so glad. I was really concerned about this trial. You guys know how emotional I got when I watched the Quentin Simon, Leilani Simon trial. And after sitting for days and listening to what had happened to that baby, it was very emotional when she was found guilty, right? Her attorneys were embarrassing when that one raised his voice in closing. Nope, I still don't believe you when you holler at me. A silent verdict, I can't believe that, I've never seen that either. When they don't read aloud to be recorded to the public. Interesting. So what do you mean they didn't read it aloud to the public? I'm kinda confused, loves. I'm kinda confused, love. Give me a minute and I'll pull it up. I shall pull it up. Oh, I know where the music came from. When we were talking about Elena Hombre, I showed the beginning of Crystal's video, and that is where that's where it got me. But I'm gonna take that part out. So, um, Lord, that is crazy. Wow. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can pull that up. That was so quick. That scares me that it was sentencing is today also. That is what I really want to get into, is the sentencing. So I've got a doctor's appointment at 1 o'clock. Man, it is so nasty here, you guys. It is so nasty here. They didn't let the public hear the four. Wow. That is, yeah, Court TV. Court TV has everything for real. And that's weird that they didn't, that's weird that they didn't, I believe it's, WBIR Channel 10 has it up. Uh, Let me see, hold on. I just gotta be careful on whose I show, 'cause, you know how some of them are, they don't like you to show their stuff. Uh, so are they gonna do the sentencing? Okay, hold on. Let me share this tab. Okay, this is WBIR Channel 10. Court is in recess for 15 minutes. All right, we're gonna rewind this a little bit. I will give them credit here in a second. Wow, I'm stunned. Wait, is this just them talking? Or has the jury come back in yet? Let's see. Hold on. Oh, they're not giving me subtitles. Okay, so me too, H. Me too. This is so crazy to me, you guys. I can't believe this. I came home from sandy beaches to a 2-foot snowstorm. Well, be careful, because a change in temperature might make you not feel well. Might make you not feel well. I guess while we're waiting, let's go ahead and listen to some of the closing arguments and just have a little discussion about them. Even though she's been found guilty in all of it, you know, let's just, I know, Jenny, that is, that does bother me that the defense didn't call any witnesses. I wonder if they did that for a reason. Protecting the juror's identity. Well, I guess that's a good idea. Okay. So let's just listen to a little bit of what they were showing that found her guilty.
Wheel of Fortune, and they know the answer to the phrase or the statement. They don't have all the letters when they see that phrase, but they know what the answer is. And if the state has done that, we have met our burden. And it's important to note that it's not beyond a shadow of a doubt.
But let me ask you guys this. So we know that Evelyn passed from asphyxiation, is what they're saying, right? So we don't know what happened at all. And this is a hard question. I'm going to say trigger warning. Do you all, I hope that little Evelyn was already in heaven when they did that to her. You guys, I'm freaking blindsided. I am blindsided that they've already come back with a verdict. Craziness.
It's not absolute certainty. That is not what is required by the law, by the state of Tennessee. So that brings me to some of the arguments that Mr. Scott has made through this trial. They might be on the same page. Probably should have written.
Yeah, aluminum blanket and a trash bag, Jenny, right.
Here it is, page 5.
See, that's what I said, loves. I mentioned the foil in the lungs. And why would Evelyn have had foil in the lungs? Right? Because my understanding was, her trigger warning, her head was wrapped in foil, right? So how would it have gotten into her lungs if she had already passed? I probably should have listened to the medical examiner. Oh, thank you, Poppy. That is so sweet.
Instructions in the second paragraph, it states, statements, arguments, and remarks of counsel are intended to help you in understanding the evidence and applying the law, but they are not evidence. And I beg you to remember that. When Mr. Scott gets back up and makes his arguments, remember that. The things that come out of his mouth and that came out of his mouth during trial, that is not the evidence. He tried to get you to speculate on so many things during this trial. He wanted to throw out strange theories with aluminum foil. He wanted to throw out a term that doesn't even matter anymore, SIDS. That came from...
They tried to... What? The defense tried to say SIDS? That's crazy. And, I mean... Yeah, aluminum foil in her lungs. That's what I thought, that they found it in the lungs. Wow, crazy.
From his mouth, not either of the doctors, but for Mr. Scott. He's asking you to speculate. That is not evidence. I beg you to only think about the items that were put into evidence, the photographs, the recordings, and what came from the witness stand. Do not let them sway you from what actually happened in this case.
They tried everything. SIDS at
He kept
15
mentioning
months.
cadaver dogs. He wanted you to think about that. But if you remember the cadaver dogs, Tommy Boswell, on his property, what did we hear him say? The cadaver dogs didn't even go up there by the playhouse. He wants you to believe maybe the body wasn't there at that time. He's trying to throw you off, but he didn't show anything. There's no proof. There's no evidence.
I will say I find it weird now. 5 years later, Hunter was admitted right near the trial. One thing that got me was her saying that did they ever say who Evelyn's father was, or did Megan just not know? Because she was fighting with the man that she said was Evelyn's father on Facebook, and I mean it was really really wild. Yeah, I didn't hear who the real dad was either.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you once again, and it's in here in these instructions, that the defendant has no burden to prove anything during this trial. The burden is wholly on the state of Tennessee. Okay? Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you. And I believe I said that. The state, we gladly carry this burden. But again, what comes out of Mr. Scott's mouth is not evidence. You heard nothing from the witness stand about cadaver dogs. There's no piece of evidence about cadaver dogs. And Mr. Scott said in his opening statement, humans make mistakes. Do you remember that? Dogs also commit mistakes. And if you remember, Agent Fraley and Agent Graff, both with the TBI, what did they say? They didn't smell anything in that playhouse until they lifted the black bag, and immediately the smell of decomposition.
Wow, trigger warning, you guys.
Cadaver dogs, what do they work off of? The smell of decomposition. Don't let that fool you. Mr. Scott also talked a lot about Hunter Wood. We heard a lot about Mr. Wood in this trial. Again, did we hear any witness from the witness stand that ever saw Evelyn with Hunter Wood? There wasn't a witness that ever saw Evelyn with Hunter Wood. And if you remember the text messages that we saw yesterday from essentially Hunter's own mouth, it's pretty clear that he's yet another victim of Megan Boswell. She was feeding him the same lines that she was feeding every other person in this case.
Wow.
Mr. Scott brought up the theory of an accident or the word SIDS. Well, you heard Dr. Malushnik say that in the past 10 years in the state of Tennessee, a child 12 months or older has not passed away from SIDS or sudden unexplained death.
Because she was...
Those are statistics from the state of Tennessee. But somehow Mr. Scott wants you to believe that.
She was trying to say that, and I hope I'm not getting my cases mixed up, that Evelyn was rolled, that they were sleeping with her in the middle of them, and she was rolled on top of, right?
Somehow, that's how this baby died, even though she has foil wrapped around her head, a blanket wrapped around that, inside a trash bag, upside down, in a trash can. Let's go through our timeline just for a minute. What do we know? We know that Evelyn was okay until November of 2019. We know that Evelyn was seen at Thanksgiving by family.
Right.
And then Megan Boswell started a new job at the Chicken Shack. What do we know after that? Megan Boswell meets Hunter Wood. And we know that Sue Whitson is probably the last person to ever see Evelyn alive again. You remember the picture that Sue took? This is very likely the very last picture of Evelyn Boswell alive.
Oh my gosh. She's
not
so
taken by Megan Boswell, but taken by the babysitter.
I know, I'm weird. All these babies are beautiful to me. They're beautiful. They don't deserve what has happened to them at all.
Sue Whitson testified that the last time she babysat was the end of November, early December, which just so happened to coincide with when Megan Boswell met Hunter Wood, a guy that she was hoping might change her life. But Evelyn was in the way. What did we hear? Do you remember Megan's friend,
Oh,
Maddie
thanks,
Broom?
Age.
We heard a little bit about her. Her brother, Stephen Lawrence, tried to help Megan. She drove her to a few of the interviews. And if you remember, Megan was apartment shopping on December 8th. And on that date, Evelyn was not with her. And so Stephen asked her later, after it's been reported that Evelyn's missing, he says, was Evelyn gone by then? And what did Megan say? Yes, Evelyn was gone by then. So that takes our window from December 3rd, essentially when Megan Boswell started working at the...
Oh no, that's my birthday, December 3rd. And so they found the gloves in the trash can, but the can was wiped and leave her. I see what you're saying, loves. I see what you're saying.
the Chicken Shack to December 8th. Evelyn Boswell's 12-month well visit.
Oh, Jenny,
Remember
I say
that?
that all the time.
Scheduled for
Judy,
December
Judy.
5th. Megan doesn't call and cancel. She just no-shows. And Casey Saltz, the receptionist there, had to reach out and ask Megan, and Megan gave some excuse. I can't remember what it was, as to why she couldn't bring her. So they rescheduled for the next day. Did Megan show up with Evelyn the next day? No, she didn't.
Wow.
I submit to you, that's because Evelyn was already gone at that point. Casey texts Megan again, and Megan has yet another excuse. The appointment's rescheduled one more time for December 11th, and conveniently, Megan then says, oh, I've decided to change pediatricians. And as we can all imagine, when you change pediatricians, we all know that children have vaccine records and all of the things that come with being, especially that first 12 months
That's
of life. You've got a
true.
lot of appointments and a lot of vaccinations.
Files
It'd
are
be really,
transferred.
really important to transfer that information to the new pediatrician. Did Megan Boswell do that? No, she didn't. They never got a request from another pediatrician. That was just another line that Megan Boswell told to start trying. I say trying. To cover her
Wow.
tracks.
Oh, thanks, Age.
We also know that on December 7th, you saw a text message yesterday from a girl named Haley Marie. And that is the very first time that Megan tells the story her dad has her. December 7th. Keep in mind, Sue Whitson saw Evelyn alive for the last time. And then Megan just stopped showing up. And then by December 7th, she's concocted her plan. And it really explains why so much time goes by. Because I know that's a question we have all had. 2.5.
See, I don't understand, and I have to say, trigger warning, why the over unaliving, the aluminum foil wrapped around her head, a blanket wrapped around her head, placed in the trash can, upside down, she after being placed in a garbage bag. Why? I don't understand, unless she thought that, because remember, I'm not sure, loves. I'm not sure. Hey, Crystal. Yeah, she was found guilty on all charges. I need to change my title. I'll change my title real quick.
Half months goes by, 2.5 months. But now we know. We know why. Because Megan Boswell was telling every single person in her family and her closest friends that Evelyn was with her father. So what does a rational person think? Okay, we're glad. I think Tommy even said that from the stand. I was proud of him for stepping up. I was proud of him for stepping up and taking responsibility. But, time continues to pass, and you've heard witnesses, and particularly Bailey and Audrey, Megan's closest friends, they were all starting to talk and to think that something doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. But no one could have known how wrong this was at the time. February 2020, finally, Tommy Boswell says, I've had enough. I want to see my granddaughter. Show her to me by tomorrow, or I'm reporting it to DCS. Well, Megan couldn't do that. Megan knew she couldn't do that because she knew where Evelyn was. We all know where Evelyn was. And so Megan did not produce Evelyn that day. And Tommy finally gets the ball rolling on trying to find this little girl. And they first show up
Okay,
at
my title
Underwood's
should be
house
changed,
on the
y'all.
lake in a nice
I
neighborhood.
apologize for that.
And Megan Boswell's there. But there's no baby. There's no Evelyn. And you remember, the only thing Megan, you remember James Lewis from DCS, the only thing Megan was really able to show was this box from Hunter's bedroom. And you remember what Megan called that box? A memory box. Now, why would you call something a memory box if you are alleging that your child is still alive?
That is a great point. Why would you turn around and say that you have a memory box for your child if your child is still alive? That's a good point. That is a good point.
This is all Megan Boswell had of Evelyn in that house that she was trying to show DCS that Evelyn was living in. She couldn't show him diapers. She couldn't show him a pack and play.
Wow.
She showed him one outfit that she held up on a hanger, not an outfit that Evelyn had ever worn. There was no evidence that a child had ever been in that house. Now, I'm going to touch on something to briefly. If you remember Paul Durant yesterday, going back and trying to give you a little bit of a timeline. If you remember, he talked about Ethan Perry in the military because Megan Boswell led him to believe that he was the father, even though he had his doubts. She convinced him that he was the father of Evelyn. We know he was not the father. We know that. And he said she was sharing photos daily, constantly sharing photos. Until what day? Do you remember the date? December 3rd. On December 3rd, Megan Boswell stopped sharing photographs of Evelyn.
There was also photographs of Evelyn and Megan that were older photographs that I think that she put back out again. I could be wrong.
And she continues to send pictures, but if you remember, Agent Durant he's a smart guy. And so he was able to check her full Facebook extraction. And so she continued to send pictures to Ethan, but they weren't recent pictures.
Yes.
It was just another way that she could try to keep this facade going just as long as she could.
Yeah, nothing.
Mr. Scott wants you to believe that Megan Boswell had a rough life. She was in foster care. But Megan Boswell was in foster care because of Megan Boswell.
Yes,
Because
I
she
heard
would
her
not go to
father
school.
say that.
She went to foster care because she was truant.
Yes, that's what her father said. I watched her father testify, and he said Megan went to foster care because she, you know, kept getting in trouble.
And when she left foster care, she went and lived with her dad. Of course, Evelyn was a baby at this point. I think the testimony was from February to March of 2019. And then her dad said, I'm going to get her a trailer, set her up. He bought her a brand new car, buys her a trailer. He's giving her everything she needs to raise this child.
Lowest years.
And she goes and lives with her mommy, her grandmother, from April until October of 2019. And then finally into the trailer from October to December. I think it's fair to say that she did not live in that trailer with Evelyn for very long.
I'm going to pull the cord up right now.
But in that short period of time, this is what she was able to do to that trailer. Can we look at that for a second? That's what she had her child living in.
Wow.
If that's not neglect, she does this in 2 months.
That's crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I beg you to look at these pictures when you go back in the jury room. That, in 2 months, is what the defendant was able to do. So
okay, we're getting ready to pop over to the...
And within 2 months, Evelyn was dead.
Okay.
And I say that there are, maybe it's just my opinion, there are a lot of victims in this case.
I know we're all over the place, but I want to pop over to what is happening in the courtroom right now with Court TV, you guys. So let me, because I didn't realize they were doing the sentencing today. Okay, let's get this up here. They have people up testifying. Let's pull it up and we'll go through it quickly if we need to. I apologize, you guys, because this is like a double whammy for me. Wow. Okay. So we're going to pop over and thank you, Poppy. Thank you. Like I said, we will go, I am going to up the playback speed and we will, I can't believe they're doing the sentencing today too. This is crazy. All right, let me see if we can, let me get to, there she is. I don't know why there's not any sound right now, unless they were waiting. Maybe they've got the sound turned off. Let me see. Why is there no sound? Megan's now facing life. She may have a chance at parole after serving a mandatory
You are guilty.
51
In
years.
count 2, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of first-degree murder and the perpetration of a felony, it's a judgment of this court you are guilty. In count 3, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of first-degree murder and the perpetration of a felony, it's a judgment of this court you are guilty. In count 4, a judgment of your peers having found you guilty of aggravated child abuse, it's a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 5, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of aggravated child neglect, it's a judgment of the court you are guilty.
You gonna cry now, Megan?
In count 6, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of tampering with evidence, it's a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 7, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, it's a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 8, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, it's a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 9, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, it's a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 10, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, it's a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 11, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, it's a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 12, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, it's a judgment of the court you are guilty. Count 13, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, it's a judgment of the court you are guilty. Count 14, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, is a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 15, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, is a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 16, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, is a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 17, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of false report, is a judgment of the court you are guilty. In count 19, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of abuse of corpse, is a judgment of the court you are guilty. And in count 20, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of failure to report a death under suspicious, unusual, or unnatural circumstances, is a judgment of the court you are guilty. In counts 4 through 20, the jury did not assess a fine, so there'll be no fine assessed in those counts. Now we'll be in recess about 15 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, let me fast forward. And I'm sorry, you guys. You know I'm so unprofessional. I am very unprofessional on my channel. But I kind of got whacked in the face with this. For real. All right, we fast forwarded through the 15 minutes. This is astounding to me that they come back with all these guilty charges very quickly. And then to this is amazing to me. And you're right, Crystal. Justice is being served for these babies. We're starting to see justice for these babies, and it's about time.
All right, General.
If it's too fast, you all let me know, okay?
I'm sorry.
You can do an opening statement if you like to.
Okay, no, I stayed over the video.
You have an opening?
I do.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I may not agree with your verdict. I respect your verdict. I respect you. I thank you for your time. And I have one more
And I
thing.
do have closed
add.
captioning
You have to make
on.
a decision now, and that decision is it's going to mean the difference. If you sentence Megan Boswell to life in prison, she'll be released when she is probably 69 years old. It'll be 8. She's been in jail. You probably realize she is.
I'm sorry, but really even being considered to be let out at 69 is not right.
Been in jail since she was 18 years old. She went to jail February 25th of 2020. She hasn't been released. So with that said, if you give her a life sentence, it would be 51 years. That's what I'm asking you to do. If you give her a life without sentence, she will never be released from prison. That's the difference. So the difference between her being released at what I believe would be 69, 70 years old or never being released. In doing this process, and Judge Goodwin will read you some
Hey, Mama
very short written
Bear.
instructions compared to what you heard yesterday. You look at statutory aggravating factors and mitigating factors. In this case, the state will submit the age of the child as the aggravating factor. Our mitigating factors, we've listed several of those. They include no significant criminal history, her youth and age at the time the offense was committed. She was 17 when she had Evelyn. She was 18 when Evelyn died. You'll hear more about her unstable and chaotic home life. You'll hear from her mother, Angela Boswell. She's here today.
We're going to hear from her mother.
That Megan witnessed between her parents. You'll hear from Angela about drug use that Megan witnessed.
Here we go.
You also hear about her schooling. It wasn't seamless. And how one of her primary role models was her grandfather, Tommy Boswell's father. He died when I think she was 11 or 12 years old. You'll hear that. And finally, you'll hear a little bit about her younger siblings, Elijah and Charlotte. Elijah has a disability that Megan has looked after him and tried to help take care of him. And then you're also feel free to look at any other thing you've heard in the proof and making that decision as far as mitigating factor, anything else you've heard in all the proof from any of the witnesses. And also, you'll probably hear from Gail Kite. You've heard from her once before, but you'll hear a little bit more from her about the shape Megan was in when she came into her home. And you'll hear from, we expect to call Mary Boswell. She is Megan's grandmother. I think most of you recognize the name of Mommy at this point. You'll hear from her and what she witnessed in her participation in raising Megan. So it's a hard decision. It's not a light decision. You made a hard decision already. And it's my hope that after you see this, you will come to the conclusion that maybe at 69 years old, it would be fair for her to be released from prison.
All right. General, proof.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Mama Bear, because, or Jenny, because she doesn't have to say what really happened. Just like Leilani Simon never admitted nor said what happened.
This time the state will use a copy of birth certificate of Boswell.
All right. That'll be exhibit 262. I'm going to keep the exhibits in sequential numbers, but I started a new sheet for the sentencing part. It'll be exhibit 262. Any other proof, Joe?
No, that's state address.
Mr. Scott.
This we call Angel Boswell. Angel Boswell.
Raise your right hand, man. State your name for me.
Angela Boswell.
You solemnly swear affirm testimony about to be the truth, the whole truth, and the truth. Have a seat. If you pull the microphone down, talk straight into that microphone. Actually, you know what? I need to switch these.
Okay, this is Mom. I'm going to make excuses for Megan's behavior. We listened to the same thing with Billy Joe Howell about the substance use and all that stuff, right? Yeah, Billy Joe Howell testified for Leilani at her sentencing hearing also. They're doing this quick and getting it out of the way. Wow. So we're going to hear about with Leilani's trial. Mom talked about her substance use, and I think we're going to hear the same thing.
Angela Boswell.
You are Megan Boswell's mother?
I am.
Ms. Boswell, you know the purpose of being here today?
I do.
I want to ask you some about Megan's home life and growing up, but I guess I want to ask you first a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
And I'm asking you these questions, Ms. Boswell. I'm not trying to embarrass you or test any aspersions.
No.
You married Tommy Boswell when you were how old?
First time 15.
You're speaking to that microphone. just a little bit.
Wow.
First time 15.
And when did you become pregnant with your first child with him?
I had my first in April and turned 16 in July.
Okay, and who was that child?
Tommy Jr.
Then you had Megan at some point. How old were you when you had Megan?
There's 8 years difference. I was almost 24.
It's okay. So let's talk about Megan's life growing up.
The fact
Would it be fair to
is,
say that during her lifetime, she's witnessed drug use between you and her father?
Yes.
What type of drugs?
Opiates, mainly.
Scoot up or speak into that so that you can hear.
Opiates, mainly.
Did that drug use lead to other problems?
Yeah. Arguments, fighting, yes.
You say there was
Strife
strife.
is what it brings, yes. Non-stop.
Is that something that went on pretty much her entire childhood
Yeah.
growing up?
Yeah, from the time she was pretty little, yeah.
Good. Now, did she witness fights between you and her father?
Yes.
I think at some point her father was convicted of aggravated assault and kidnapping.
Yes.
Were you the victim in that?
Yes.
Do you remember ever taking Megan to any NAAA meetings with you?
Yes, I did.
How old was she when you did that?
She was probably about 7 or 8. First ones I started taking her to 7 or 8 or 9, somewhere around in there.
Now she, due to the strife in your home, was she raised by her grandparents to some degree?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but why would you take a child to AA meetings with you? I mean, if she didn't have anybody to watch her, possibly, but that's kind of weird, isn't it?
Okay, what were their names?
Mary and Danny Boswell.
Mary Boswell, would that be who's known as Omani?
Yes.
These problems, do you feel that it's partly your fault, the problems Megan's experienced?
No, absolutely. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Now, unfortunately, your problems, that they went on up into, we saw a video in here of you being brought down from the jail to talk with her in
Mhm.
2020.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So even up until the time she went to jail, you were in and out of jail.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
You've been convicted of numerous crimes.
Yes.
Now, have you managed to straighten up at this point?
I have, yes.
Are you hoping to?
Yes, I pray every day and just, to do my best and try.
Wow.
I've learned the importance of a mother's role, but not for Megan, I didn't.
All right.
I affected her on that miserably.
And you're here asking the jury to give her a sense of life as opposed to life without.
It's Maggie is at her core. She's a generous, kind person. And through all Maggie's went through, Maggie still has potential. She was trying so hard. She didn't repeat my mistakes. Maggie learned from my mistakes. She was trying to do better with Eve. She wasn't repeating. I think she got saddled with, just because of my mistakes that she did. That was not the case with her.
Would it be fair to say she didn't have a good role model for the mother she
No,
be?
no, she did not.
Answering Ms. Massengill and Mr. Harper's question. I don't have any questions, Judge.
There's a fruit tree.
Judge, at this time, I have some judgments of conviction of Tommy Boswell. I'd like to put in by agree with Mr. Harper. No objection. Okay. I'll ask you to
Wow.
make the next 4 exhibits.
So,
Mr. Scott, I want to enter on case number 61078 as exhibit 263. And the other 3 pages are.
so mom was in and out of prison,
260.
did a lot of substances, mainly opiates. Wasn't really a mother to Megan. Oh, thank you, Crystal. Thank you.
The first page, 262.
Yeah, I call BS on her too.
Page 62.
Thank you, girl. That means a lot. Thank you so much. I adore you, Crystal.
You know, the fence was called Gail Kite.
It's KYTE, right?
I believe so, Your Honor. I'll have her spell it. I think she was a witness in the trial when I go back to it.
Crystal, I'm modding you.
You solemnly swear from
Will you drop your link to your book club, darling, please?
Scott, good morning.
Good morning.
Just so I make sure here, spelling your last name is it Kyte?
It is.
This
And
is
Ms.
your
Kyte, you
first.
previously testified in this hearing as a state's witness. Is that
Oh
correct?
my goodness,
correct.
Crystal.
Well, thank you for
I'm
coming back.
sorry, you guys.
for this
Thank
part of
you
it.
so much, Crystal.
I know Ms. Boswell appreciates that. How long have you been working in foster care?
15 years.
Do you remember when Megan Boswell came to you?
I do.
Do you recall what kind of shape she was in her state?
She was in bad shape. She was one of the worst children that I brought in as far as neglect.
What do you mean by that?
She was very malnourished. She's very skinny. Her hair was matted to her head with lice. Impossible to even get a comb through.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, when she came to you, were you given any background? I imagine in foster care, you're given background or information of where this child is coming from. Were you giving any of that?
I was.
And what were you preparing for?
In the intake papers, it mentioned trauma. It mentioned rape.
Did it give you any background or any information about her family background or makeup?
Not really.
Now, you said she came to you with lice. What did you do to try to help Megan?
Well, I took her to a beauty shop because there was no way to even begin to get a comb through. It was horrible. The beauty shop wouldn't touch it. They told me, I offered to pay them $100 to go out back to cut her hair. And they said that they couldn't do it. Finally, the agency that we were with found a beautician that met me at a church that was willing to come in and give Megan a haircut. They gave her a bob, which looked really cute on her. But even after that we could get a comb through, it took close to 3 weeks, maybe a month to get rid of the lice. Were just
Okay, so can somebody answer me this? How old was Megan when she first went into foster care? Because she was placed in foster care for she was close to being a teenager then, right? Am I getting this confused?
so bad. I had to get prescription medicine from the doctor. We got 2 bottles of that. I bought the comb that you run through that's supposed to kill the lice. And I know I practically traumatized the poor child because we go out on the porch and I'd run that comb through trying to make sure we got all the lice. And she'd sit there and tears would run down her hair. She got tired of me. It wasn't a pleasant situation. And then
Mom wasn't
even
on there
when you
very
do that,
long,
you
was
still
she?
got to go through. You've got to thoroughly clean the bedding. Everything in the room has to be taken down, washed in hot water. But it was a rough time for her, very rough.
And you may have said, but she came to you how old?
She was 17 years old.
17 years old. That's what I thought. 17 years old. You would think that at 17 years old that Megan herself would have been cleaner. I had to ask because the way that this woman is speaking, it was like she was a young girl.
She was pregnant.
17, pregnant, scared, didn't have a place to go.
And you believe that she had been raped or violently sexually assaulted. Were you given any background or information about her family, her mom and her dad?
I knew Mom was in and out of jail, and I knew her daddy owned a business.
Were you able to come to the opinion that she essentially came from a dysfunctional family?
I did.
Okay. And how long did she stay with you?
She stayed 4 months. When she came in, we got to work, got rid of the lice, got her registered for school. Where she was pregnant, she chose to do online schooling. She worked really hard getting her diploma. If a test didn't go right, she was on the phone the next day with the counselor getting it reset. I never had any problems trying to get her to do her schoolwork or anything. She hung with it.
She ever caused you any problems, disciplinary wise or anything like that?
No,
Never?
no,
And did she seem to be thriving in a structured environment?
she did. She did.
Was she making friends?
She did.
Did she seem to be progressing and coming out of the state she was in when she came to you?
She very much so.
And she was with you for 4 months. Did you form a bond with her?
Oh, I did. We took up together immediately. It was during the winter. She learned me how to play card games. Winter days, we'd sit there and we'd play. Baby'd sleep. We'd play cards. But we formed a bond.
Did you take her to doctor's appointments?
I did.
How did she seem to feel about becoming a mother?
Wow.
She was very excited.
Did you have conversations with her about that?
I did.
Did she seem to fully understand her roles and responsibilities of what was going to be required of her?
She did. Megan practically raised her younger sister, Charlotte, and her brother, Elijah. She had plenty of experience with younger children.
did
Obviously
you know that?
not.
Well, mostly from conversations with Megan, and I could tell by the way she took care of Evelyn at the house. You know, she knew how to heat bottles. She knew how to change the diapers. She got up when the baby cried.
Did you ever have to tell her to do those things?
No, me and my husband never once woke up those 4 months when Evelyn woke up in the middle of the night. Megan would take care of her very well.
And I ask you, and I want to clarify that if you ever took her to doctor's appointments, she was with you when she was with you. She came to you pregnant. Did you go to the prenatal appointments?
I did.
And did you go to follow-up appointments with Evelyn's pediatrician?
I did.
So you were involved through the whole process, really.
Those 4 months, yes.
At some point in time, was Megan taken from your home and placed back somewhere else?
She done trial visits.
Yes,
to go back to
Crystal, I
Tommy's.
agree.
There was a process in the foster care system.
I understand.
She done weekend visits, or at first it was just visits, and then it led to weekend visits.
How'd she feel about that?
She seemed okay with it.
Eventually, was Megan placed back in the custody and care of her family?
She went back to Tommy's house.
Tommy, you mean her father?
Yes,
Okay. And did you maintain contact with her?
I did.
How often?
We texted back and forth it wasn't a daily time, but I want to say once a month, couple times a week. It's just according to what was going on and what pictures she had took of Evelyn.
When you were talking to her, did you eventually learn that maybe things were kind of getting back off the tracks again?
I did. In April, I received a call from her foster care worker saying that Megan had been needed some help, and even though she was out of the foster care system, would I be willing to go and help her out? And I said, no problem. So I called Megan. She told me that her mother had dropped her off at a church. She had drove off and left her and Evelyn there. She had took Evelyn's diaper bag, the baby's supplies. So I told her I'd be right there. I went and picked her up. We went to Walmart, bought baby bottles, formula, diapers, the stuff that a baby would need.
Where did you take her?
We went back to my home. She spent the night. Her and Evelyn they took showers, a good night's sleep. But then the next morning, she wanted to go back to her mother's family's home.
Where's that at?
Why would she have wanted to go back to her mother's family home if her mother dumped her off at a church with Evelyn? Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
Now, I'm not sure. The place that I took, her grandfather was in the hospital, and she wanted to go there to meet up with her family. So when she left my home, I drove her to the hospital in Kingsport, and she assured me that she would be perfectly fine, and her and Evelyn got out.
It'd be fair to say that Megan wasn't getting maybe the familial support from her parents that she was needing at that time.
Yes.
I imagine over this time, Ms. Guy, that did you ever meet Tommy Boswell Sr. or her mother, Angela?
Excuse me.
I had never met Angela, but I'd met Tommy several times.
You said you agreed that she probably come from a dysfunctional family. Let me ask you this. She lived with you for 4 months and you stayed in contact with her after she moved out. It's your opinion, you know her, you talked to her. You think Megan ever knew what a normal family looked like?
No.
Did she crave that?
I think so.
Was she wanting that for Evelyn?
I think so.
Well, it's obvious why we're here today. You know why you're testifying. Are you asking this jury to just give her life?
I am, with the possibility of parole. This child has been traumatized. She's made bad mistakes that has to be paid for. But I think she deserves a chance to come back out to the real world. I don't think she's irredeemable.
I believe that if she's 69, 70 years old when she gets out, I don't see the sense in that. I don't see the sense in it.
I think she can become a functioning citizen.
Ms. Scott, I thank you again. If you would answer the questions that the state has for you.
Nothing from the state judge.
Judge, we call Mary Boswell.
She unalived Evelyn. And I agree with Crystal when Crystal talked about the honeymoon phase. Evelyn was there for 4 months. Or excuse me, Megan was there for 4 months. Well, she's shown a little bit more emotion than Leilani Simon for sure. Leilani acted like it was all a game, in my opinion.
Mary Boswell. Yes, sir. Okay.
Ms. Boswell,
Mhm.
I'm Gene Scott. How are you?
Pretty good.
We're here today because the jury's trying to decide how long Megan will have to stay in prison. I want you to, I guess, your name is Mary Boswell.
Not Mary Boswell.
Okay. How do you know Megan?
Sir,
How do you know Megan?
she's my granddaughter.
Okay. Are you Tommy Boswell's mother?
Yes, sir.
And obviously you've known Megan her
Thank
whole
you,
life.
Crystal.
All
I
her
was
life,
just
thought she
thinking
was
that.
22
We're on
months
the
old, 'cause
same
we was running off and
wavelength.
on, not all the time, but off and on.
Why was that in part because of problems between your son and her mother, Angela?
Sir,
Was that because her parents were having
no,
problems?
she just loved me and her papaw, and she stayed with us, and we loved her, and so we keep her locked.
Were you aware of the violence issues between Tommy and Angela?
No, I didn't live in their home or nothing. I don't know nothing about what went on in their home, sir.
Okay.
We pick her up and keep her until she want to go back and like that, off and on.
Wait, do you guys really believe that? This is Megan's dad's mother. And Megan's mother came up and talked about as far as even kidnapping, but grandma doesn't know what was going on in the home because she didn't live there. I mean, maybe she didn't witness things firsthand, but I'm sorry.
And have you always lived down there on the same property Tommy lives on? Or
I've never lived there for maybe 20 years, 21 or 2 or something like that.
she lived there almost all of Megan's life.
Yeah, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir.
I agree, you guys. BS.
And you're aware, you told me, I think one of Megan's role models was your husband, your late husband?
Sir,
Your late husband, he was one of Megan's role models?
yes, we loved her like she belonged to us.
Okay. And, when did he pass, ma'am?
11 and a half years ago. Soon to be 12 this summer.
So that would have been when Megan was, I guess, what,
Yeah, maybe 12 years old or
12
something.
years old?
Mhm.
Did you see that take an impact on her?
Yes, it did.
And are you here asking this jury for leniency today?
Yes, sir, I am.
Asking them not to give her a sentence of life without parole?
I hope they don't, sir. I love her like I hope they don't give her the sentence like that. I'd love to give her my home if I could take her home today. That's how much I love her.
I understand. Thank you, Ms. Boswell. Answer any Mr. Harper or Ms. Massey.
I would give her my home, even though she unalived my great granddaughter. What is wrong with people?
No questions. Judge.
Okay, I'm leaving. Thank you.
Wow. Where were these people for Evelyn? Where were these people for Evelyn? Is what I want to know. I want to know.
Ladies and gentlemen, I had to go to the office for just a minute.
We're almost caught up here, you guys.
Everyone, one second, please.
Let me slow it down just a peg. I don't want to catch up with court
You may be
TV.
seated. Thank you. Approach. Megan, we've talked about this before. You understand you have a right not to testify.
Yes,
No one can force you to testify.
yes.
We'll start this over since we didn't have a microphone up. Megan, you understand you have a right not to testify, and if you don't testify, the jury may not draw any inferences from that failure to testify. Do you understand that?
Yes,
I know,
Likewise, you have a
Crystal.
right
It's
to
like we got the
testify, no
same
one can
wavelengths
testify
going on
if you
here.
want to.
yes,
After consulting with me, Mr. Horn, talking about your case and hearing what's happened here in court and all the evidence, do you wish to testify or not?
no,
You do not wish to testify?
I do not wish to testify.
And Ms. Boswell, you're still.
Wow.
Yesterday or the day before. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Of course, she's not going to testify for herself.
Do you have any other proof? And before we bring the jury in, one thing that I forgot to do yesterday was when we excused the alternates, I took the contents of one of their books and the cover page, and I gave that to the court reporter, and that would be designated as Exhibit A, the letter A, for identification only, so that it's part of the record as to what those notebooks were that they took back.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Her mom didn't say anything to benefit her, except for her mom had a messed up life, wasn't a mother to her. Grandma comes on. I would give her my home if I could take her home today. Where were these people for Evelyn? I remember Megan trying to say that her mother had Evelyn at some point in a camper or something. Telling law enforcement that she knew who had Evelyn and she was trying to get her back. This case, I'm sorry. They should not. Yes, the foster mother spoke for her. Oh. Why did you end there, Court Bay? All right, we don't need to hear Grandma again. Why did Court TV do that? That's weird. Because we already heard Grandma testify. I don't know what Court TV is doing. They're having technical difficulties. Court TV, tell the judge that I have to go to the doctor in an hour. So we'll just pause it here for a minute. Isn't it scary, Crystal, that I kind of wish that in this case that no one could have been able to come up there and even speak for her. We've seen the conditions the house was in, and they're going to sit up there and try to convince me that they cared about Evelyn. If they knew she had Evelyn living in those conditions. But Grandma said, I'd give her my house right now if I could take her home. They all knew the conditions that, oh, I'm sorry, because Tommy, her dad, said that he never went in the trailer. That he would pull up, she would come outside and talk to him, right? But then these family members are not responsible for Evelyn, right? That was on Megan. Let me see if they got it taken care of here. Okay, they're still having technical difficulties. Wow, you guys. See, that happened with Quentin Simon too, Leilani. Billy Joe comes up and testifies in her sentencing hearing. I feel that way too. They had to have known how the baby was living. They had to have known that. So sad. So sad. I mean, wait until the case for Evelyn goes to trial. I'm thinking I may show that one. I know definitely I want to show the Madeline Soto case. I want to show the Stephen Stern trial. It's very hard to, and I've said this before, so not trying to sound redundant here, but it is very hard to sit through these trials and listen to the way that these babies are found and possibly what happened. Yeah, she didn't, I mean, I don't understand how, like, going back to the Quentin Simon trial, it is hard to set for days and days and days. Oh, Karen Reed, yeah, a lot of people are waiting on that one too. I thought about just starting another channel to only do the trials, but before I can go live, I would have to have so many subs and stuff to do that. I don't know. I think it was 50. We got H Davis to I think 50, so he could go live on his channel and just do the trials on that. But same thing with Quentin Simon trial. Billy Joe come on there, talk about her substance use, how she basically was not the greatest mother in the world. You know, it's like deja vu all over again. Where are these people crying for Evelyn? Where are they crying for Evelyn? Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Well, you know what's happening. Yes. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. If I do start another channel just for trials, just maybe start them later on, like I did the Quentin Simon trial, or Leilani Simon trial, I should say. And start them a little bit later and do it that way. Erica's charges are not half of that. And Erica, we're talking about Elena here, you guys. Yeah, that's not fair, is it? At all. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pop over on are they all having technical difficulties? That's interesting, isn't it? I'm checking. That's weird. All the channels are having problems Hmm. Court TV, WCYB, all of them having technical difficulties. That's interesting, isn't it? That's interesting. Wow. Um, for some reason, they're saying that a couple of the jurors, I'm looking at the WCYB chat, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they're saying that a couple of the jurors was accidentally shown. So there's a problem, I guess. Yeah, there's something that they're not wanting to broadcast. Because you guys remember in the Quentin Simon, I shouldn't say Quentin because it was the Leilani Simon trial, that the boyfriend, substance dealer, did not want to be on camera when he gave his testimony. There were people who didn't want to give their testimony that they did not show. They did not show. I bet it's hard to be a juror for a case like this, sitting there listening to the horrific things about these babies, how they were found. It is and luckily the same thing with Leilani. Yeah, yeah, the substance dealer didn't want to be on camera. But yes, Megan was a young mother. But my question is, where were all these people? What about Evelyn? What about Evelyn? You seen the judge say cut the live feed? Wow. I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened. Why'd they cut the feed? Do you guys think that now, and I know I keep going back to Leilani Simon. Do you think that this case could possibly at some point, because the defense didn't call any witnesses? But then again, the state has to prove, they have the burden of proof. I agree. Being a young mother is no excuse. And I don't understand because if Megan was in the foster care system when she had Evelyn, I would have thought that CPS would have been involved, right? You think they'll get an appeal? Well, I mean, when she was questioned by law enforcement, she lied and lied and lied. I got a question for her. Did she, which I'm sure she did, watch the Casey Anthony trial? Well, I had my daughter, my oldest daughter, I graduated in 82 and she was born in January of 83. So I was pregnant with her in June when I graduated high school, and then she was born in 83. And at that time, I was in Georgia. So my oldest daughter's a Georgia peach. And I'm not going to say I was a fabulous mother even at that age. Well, to me, I don't understand how you can turn around and have a basically 17-year-old in your care who's pregnant and has a baby. She said Megan was with her for approximately 4 months. How do you? She was only there 4 months. She came with lice in her hair and everything else. For the whole sentencing? Wow. Well, this live kind of went all over the place. Oh, I'm sure a lot was. Do you guys really think that her mother dropped her off with Evelyn at a church? Just dropped her off, didn't leave Evelyn any diapers or anything? Well, I mean, if she had the baby, she came to foster care at 17 years old and she was pregnant. So that was my thing. She was 17 years old and she went into foster care in that position. Yeah, I do agree, Crystal. I absolutely agree on that. How do we really know also that Megan was ARD, right? How do we even know that? Yeah, at 18, she could have aged out. Yes. So, wow. Let me pull up a couple pics of Evelyn here. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Poppy. I appreciate you, girl. Let me see if I can get a picture. What in the world happened? What in the world happened? Wow. That is crazy. Craziness. Uh, let's, okay. Let's pop over here. This is WVLT News, and this was from 8 days ago. And let's see what, they're kind of giving us, look-see at the situation. So let's play this.
Joins us tonight. Will, you've spent the day going back into our archives of everything that's happened leading up to this trial.
Yeah, Casey, from start to finish, the entire ordeal took nearly 1 month in the winter of 2020. From the time Megan Boswell first reported her 15-month-old daughter missing to when police found the body later determined to be that of Evelyn's on family property. The case of the missing 15-year-old captured the hearts and attention of people across the country. The case of missing Evelyn Boswell started on February 18th, 2020.
I want to start out by saying that we've been looking for baby Evelyn since last Tuesday.
Her mother, Megan, reported her missing nearly 2 months after Megan says she last saw her.
As you all know, she was first reported missing last week, and we're still searching for her and working to determine exactly when she disappeared.
Sullivan County Sheriff Jeff Cassidy gave that update in February of 2020, days after the first report.
Thank you, loves. Thank you, darling, for the cash app. I appreciate it, girl. Thank you so much.
And TBI's issuance of an Amber Alert for the little girl. Sheriff Cassidy saying Megan Boswell wasn't telling the clear truth.
A lot of the stuff that you all are getting is from the mother, and you know, you take with it what you want, but she has been inaccurate, conflicting statements all through this investigation.
Just days before this news conference, police arrested Megan's mom, Angela Boswell, and her boyfriend, William McLeod, on theft of stolen property charges. The two appeared in court days later.
I've told TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mom took her to a campground and a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself.
That's what got me. I remember this news report when she was saying, Mom's got her in the campground. If they don't go get her, I'll go get her myself, knowing she wasn't there the whole time.
Megan on February 24th, telling television cameras her mom took Evelyn camping in Virginia. Police searching that campground and coming up with nothing.
Many of the false statements that Megan made delayed our investigations and also impeded our investigations on trying to find Evelyn. As a result, she has been charged with false reporting.
The next day, police charged Megan first with false reporting.
At this point, most of you are aware that we've received a number of conflicting, inaccurate statements from the mother, Megan Boswell, Evelyn's mother.
March 2nd, Megan appears for the first time in court and handed a $25,000 bond, but the search continues for her daughter, Evelyn. On Friday, March 6th, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation found remains they believe to be Evelyn's at the Sullivan County property belonging to Tommy Boswell Sr., Evelyn's grandfather.
At this time, the investigation is in the very early stages. There's a lot of work left to be done.
With Megan already behind bars, the investigation continued. Then, on August 19th of 2020, police formally charged Megan Boswell with 2 counts of felony murder in the death of her daughter, Evelyn. Now, what came from this? Tonight, the law in the state of Tennessee requires parents to report their children missing within 24 hours of the last time they saw them. It's called Evelyn's Law, written in...
Now, see, this is what gets me. 24 hours. You have to report your children missing within 24 hours. For some reason, I think that should be like 2 hours. Yes. All of these, I think, news stations that have covered this case, absolutely. Let's hang on. I want to pop back over to Court TV. And all right, I want to know what happened, Court TV. The chat was disabled for the live stream. Ugh. All right. We will definitely find out why this happened, and then I'll try to come back on tonight. And yeah, Granny would give her the house but not bail her out. Yes, that is sad that we have to name laws after children. For sure. The first law that I remember being named for a child that sticks out in my head is Megan's Law. Was Megan's Law. Have you guys ever seen a movie? It's about a girl named Megan that I believe, if I remember correctly, she met someone online, and it was a horrible movie. Horrible movie. You can't even find it now. And then her friend went to the same place where I think she was taken. She didn't specifically, it was more of a question. Maybe I should get an attorney. Monkey's Law, Evelyn's Law, Harmony's Law, it just goes on. Thank you, Kathy. Brianna. That's it. Why does that name sound familiar to me? I'm going to grab a cup of coffee real quick, you guys. Just give me a minute, please. Oh my gosh, I can't believe all this snow outside. Well, I want to know why the judge decided to pull the plug on the live news feed. That's pretty wild that he did that. And I guess my question is why in this case would they be concerned about the jurors being shown? Well, they didn't show them in the other trial either. I don't think that that they show the jurors, right? in a lot of these trials. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna find out though exactly what was going on. And I apologize, you guys, that this live kind of went sideways, but thank you for letting me know that they had reached a verdict already. That was, my mind was blown when you said that. I was like, what? Already? So I just don't know. I just don't know why he would have done that. Let me pull over on. Somebody's had to have come out and said something about it already. Again, she was found guilty on first-degree premeditated red rum charges, aggravated child abuse, aggravated child neglect, child abuse, child neglect, tampering with evidence, 11 counts of false reporting. Don't forget that they let one slide on the false reporting, abuse of Evelyn's remains, and failure to report the death under unusual or unnatural circumstances. Wow, that's nuts to me, y'all. That is crazy. Mom told the jury, oh, I'm sorry. Scott told the jury that Boswell had been in jail since she was 18 years old. If she was given a life sentence, she would potentially be released from jail when she was in her 60s. If she gets life without parole, you know, she will never be released from prison. What, Karen? The cameraman's been put in jail for 10 days? Are you serious? Are you serious? For what? Where are you getting that information, Karen? Let me see. I'm not seeing that anywhere, but where did you get that? Oh, Trevor Lee's at court. Well, then I guess Trevor Lee would know. Trevor Lee. This article that I have right here. All right. Well, I guess we will find out for sure, The article that I have pulled up right here doesn't, it stops after Grandma testified and Megan, yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. For sure. Freaking sad. Sad, sad, sad. Well, I mean, you have to distinguish if he did it on purpose. So if he's getting 10 days in jail, then obviously they're saying he did it on purpose. So I don't know. I don't know. But we'll do this evening I'll try to come back on for a little while and update everybody on it. And because like I said, this live went way sideways very quickly. Very quickly. So for real. That does put the safety of the jury at risk. Well, if they were told not to show the jury, I bet a lot of these channels that were allowed in the courtroom and were holding up their end of the bargain to do so probably are not very happy now with a cameraman. It's very, very sad. Very sad. But I'm going to go ahead and hop off here and get ready to head out for the doctor. I got to find my boots. I got to get my boots out because we got all this nasty snow. And I will, I'll schedule a live for this evening. And I'm just going to title it right now to be announced. And I'm sorry that, well, I wasn't expecting them to come back so soon. But I'm glad I was live when they did. And you guys are the best. I must say, you all are the best people. I appreciate so much you guys hanging out with me and supporting my channel. It means a lot to me. It really does. Crystal, thank you again for the $5 super chat. And I appreciate you too very much. Thank you, loves. Thank you so much for the Cash App. I appreciate it so much. Very much, my doll. Very, very much. I'll have to come over and I got to give you a heart. I got to give you a heart, girl. Poppy, thank you, because I know that you work, and even working, you are always here. And I want you to know how much I appreciate that for real. I appreciate that so much. And I don't know what Flies is doing today, but that's okay. I'm sure she had things to do. So I will definitely come on later this evening, and we will talk about this again, and we will find out the exact reasoning, what network the cameraman worked for, and we'll have a full-blown conversation about it. Of course, along with some other cases, I've got a couple already pulled up for us to talk about. So again, thank you guys. I do appreciate you so much. You just don't know how much. You guys are the ones who has made my channel what it is, and I adore you guys. You just don't know how much. And definitely go check out Cold Case Crystal. And we had a discussion about Elena Hombre yesterday, and that is a case close to Crystal's heart. And like I said, it doesn't take a minute just to go show some of these channels some love that cover these missing children cases. So, even if you're just into the drama on the YouTube streets, or you're into the political channels or whatever, take a minute and go show these channels some love that cover these missing children cases. It's a hard thing to do. It's a very hard thing to do, you guys, whether you think so or not. And absolutely, absolutely, I will forever be grateful to the channels that do talk about the missing and exploited kids. And I'm their cheerleader. I am their cheerleader, believe it or not. So I appreciate you guys. I'm going to get off here. Have a great day. If it's snowing, stay in. Have some hot chocolate, maybe with a little bit of Bailey's Irish cream or something. A hot toddy. Definitely 420 it. Hey, go out and make a snowman if you're capable of doing that. If not, slide the neighbor kid $5 and tell him to make a snowman out in front of your house so you can look at it. I'm just saying. All right. Peace out, everybody. Thank you guys. I do adore you guys. I really do. So, and thank you guys for being so supportive. All right. Peace out, you guys.